Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about abundance first in our life. And the first thing we need to know about abundance is a gift that's actually given from the divine. So a lot of people are trying manifestation today. They want to, bring money into their lives and all that type of thing. However, as it can work, in many ways, what it really does is in a way takes away where it starts from, which is the downpouring of abundance from the creator itself. So the first step in creating abundance in one's life is we have to look at that relationship to God directly and see if that relationship is carrying abundance within it. Now, in the Sufi tradition, abundance is carried by two attributes called kareem and razak. Razak means provision, kareem means generosity. So if we want to open up Kareem or Razak, we actually have to work with a third quality called Shakur. Shakur means thankfulness. So
Mm,
if you are thankful for what you have and you appreciate what you have, and then if you ask if it's best for you to have more, and if you can have more, and you ask in a humble way, very often abundance comes down and there's a downpouring. So God is looking, is abundance the highest for you, first of all, because if it takes you away from your spirituality and from your own personal growth, it's not. And if you get lost in your, seeking abundance, then in a way, it's also not the best for you. So if you're going to have abundance and you want to keep it and you want to have the divine provision, the first step of abundance is being in that relationship with God where you recognize that, yes, I want abundance, but I'm not going to turn away from my spiritual growth, from my walking on the spiritual path, and from my connection and presence to God. Now, if you carry all that, then I think God usually has no problem in giving that abundance to people. But again, it's a trap for some because they get it and they say it, but then once they have it, they forget everything. So this is really the conundrum with the abundance and the manifestation. So good luck with your walking, but try to see if you can make that connection to God first and really feel, is God happy with you? Are you handling materialism in the right way? Is your materialism only for yourself? Are you giving to the poor? Are you helping the sick and the needy? Is part of your income going to the poor people? Is part of your life purpose and your service going to poor and those in need? If it is, God will be happy with you and you'll get more. But if it's not, and you're keeping it all for yourself out of sort of a sense of selfishness or perhaps greediness, then that will cause a blocking in the divine outpouring, and the results will be limitation. I wish you great success, and we say Ya Kareem, Ya Razak, Ya Shakur. Have a great trip, everyone. So, if we speak about abundance, I'm always one who believes that we start at the origin. And the origin really has to do with one's relationship to the divine. You could call them sacred contracts, if you will, or sacred connection, sacred purpose, or divine purpose, different name for it. But in all these cases, it really has to do with the first question, which is the highest form of abundance comes when we're in divine alignment, is my experience. In other words, are our souls actually doing what God wants them to do? Because if we get abundance that comes from other than that, we can get wealth, but generally that wealth is somewhat not really the best or the highest for us, and it doesn't affect us in a positive spiritual way. But if you're doing your real work and there's real alignment in your work, then that's the first step in having real abundance. So you begin by saying, what is it that my soul really wants to do, and what is it that God is asking of me at this time? You see, and I believe that that starts the whole process of abundance and divine purpose simultaneously happening. Okay, and then the second thing has to do with bowing, which is the bowing of the soul to the divine in a very humble way with deep humility. In other words, if you go to God and you say, "Well, God, I demand that you give me what I want," then we call that lordship, and you're actually placing condition on God's giving. But if the other side, if you bow and you say, well, God, I'm not really deserving of abundance because I feel bad about myself or I'm not good enough, then you're also sending a message to God, which is saying to God, restrict me. You see, because God is going to mirror back what you have inside of you, unless God feels that it's of the highest to not mirror it, and give you some sort of intervention. But much of the time, what really goes on is that mirroring. So if you feel bad in yourself, well, maybe I'm not enough, or maybe I'm not good enough, or there's something about me that's not right, and you express that deep in your soul, God hears that, contemplates it, and says, well, okay, my beloved one doesn't feel good about themselves and holds back from themselves. Therefore, I will honor and respect them and hold back for them because that's how they feel about themselves. So the second step has to do with that relationship with your own relationship to God. Are you humble? Are you in humility? Are you willing to receive the abundance that God gives you? Now, if you're not, again, working from the origin, we have to find deep, 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 deep in our beings, why aren't we doing that? Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. Sometimes we get caught in other people's pictures of us. Sometimes we're afraid of our own magnificence. Sometimes we are taken on images or pictures from our parents and their lack, or from sometimes like things in school where we maybe had something happen, we flunked the test, or didn't get the accolades that we want. All those things create deep imprints inside of our souls, or impressions, I call them, which cause people to hold back. So the second step is to find and to clear those impressions and imprints inside your soul that are holding you back. The third step is actually you have to bring your heart into alignment and love with what you do. If you're angry, or you feel somehow hurt, or there's something that you've been emotionally triggered by in relationship to your work, and you withhold, then you'll block the stream of abundance as well. So the third step is clearing any emotional. When I speak about heart, I'm mostly speaking about the emotional relationship, the passion, and the love that you have with what you're working. The final step, of course, really has to do with excellence, which has to do with, are you really being excellent with what you do? Now, we're at this stage, we're dealing with the action level of life, or the grounding and the manifestation level at the ground level, which means, are you able to be excellent at what you do? If you're in marketing, are you being excellent with your marketing? Is your marketing carrying the excellent light that God wants you to have? Are you bringing it out in that deep, consistent stream of energy? Or have you gotten caught by your own self somewhere, or the nafs, we say the ego self, the nafs, are also functioning somewhere, and they're slightly pulling you off that complete alignment that might give you almost that rocket ship of bursting forward. And then you get the success. And of course, with that success that you have, it opens more abundance because you'll be paid more. You'll get more money, and it's related to your effectiveness. So all these things come down to the abundance levels that each person, if they take the time and they look inside themselves and they see if they can track those 4 different levels of their being and work on clearing them, you'll have amazing effects. So I wish you, again, great luck in your journey, and Godspeed, that you work those things through and you get everything that you want.